Good afternoon. Hi guys. I am coming to you live today from the Hall of Flags here in the State House. I'll give you a quick little spin around. Let me see if I can turn my camera around. Here we go. The Hall of Flags. It's pretty impressive. It's a pretty impressive spot. Pretty full of history. And I'll draw your attention to the staircase right here because I'll be talking about it in a few minutes. So hi guys, I am coming to you live from the State House today to talk about the press conference that went on today here in the Hall of Flags. And so I see folks are hopping right on. I will get right to it. Today, here in the Hall of Flags, I was standing actually right here where I am for a press conference. And if you're tuning in because you see the title of my live, the short answer is yes. The short answer is yes. Governor Mills did lie on the campaign trail. And let me tell you why I say that. So today there was a press conference, and I think we all know that the Democrats won the House, the Senate, and the governor's seat. And this press conference today was a huge push for a pretty extreme agenda. And it was in regards to abortion here in Maine. So if you recall, on the campaign trail, Governor Mills said that she would not change the law as far as that right now as it currently stands. And I don't agree with this standard either. I'm pro-life all the way. But that viability, at the point of viability, you cannot obtain an abortion in Maine after that point. So today, there was a press conference about some bills that are going to be coming before us in the legislature. And it was interesting. There were two press conferences today, actually. And one of them was this press conference that Governor Mills held, Speaker Rachel Talbot Ross, Senate President Troy Jackson, and the representative from Planned Parenthood. And then there was another press conference that the Senate Republicans held, and it was regarding child welfare here in Maine. So ironically, two very opposing, polar opposite topics. But let me give you kind of the long and short. Of course, folks talked about that this year would be the 50-year anniversary of Roe versus Wade, which was overturned, and that the people had spoken in November and elected who they wanted to represent them, and that people wanted representation that were going to stand up for, quote, women's rights and abortion, what they call abortion health care. And that making sure that that is a right in our state was a priority. And there are 4 bills coming forward. And the one that I want to highlight and talk about today is the bill that is going to, that would say the viability is no longer the restraint. So in other words, an abortion, as was said at the press conference, an abortion is entirely to be a decision between a woman and her healthcare provider. And it was so remarkable, in fact, that that was to be the bar with this legislation, that the press actually asked 3 separate times at this press conference if there was a limit as far as number of weeks that a woman was pregnant where she could get an abortion. And 3 times the answer was no. It's a decision that belongs between a doctor and care provider and the woman. So that is extreme. I hope you're grasping how extreme that is. That is extreme. So long and short of actually birthing the child, if the doctor and the women involved feel that it is a health issue or any kind of health issue, mental health issue, etc., for the woman, that baby can be aborted. So that means just short of crowning. That's what we're talking about. That is an extreme bill. It's an extreme radical change to the law here in Maine. So we have a governor who said on the campaign trail that she would not support changing the laws, who is now, in our first month of session, putting forward a bill, supporting a bill that would change the bar from viability to any time before birth, which, yes, I see abortion equals murder in the comments. I have to agree. I agree with that statement. And I will absolutely, absolutely loudly fight this bill and the other radical bills that are coming forward that would advocate for ending the life of a child. But I have to tell you guys a little bit more about this press conference, because it was really kind of shocking to stand here, literally standing here by this column, holding up my camera, filming this entire press conference, because I just really couldn't believe it. At one point, a couple points, Speaker Talbot Ross and the woman from Planned Parenthood were talking about that only light pushes out the darkness, and that only by shining our light could we impact the darkness. And I have to agree, but I think I'm coming from a very different perspective, where murdering babies is actually darkness and is absolutely the definition of that. And we have to be the light, those of us who understand that, and stand up, because there's no one else standing up for the life of these innocents. And I'll turn the camera around again and tell you, so these stairs in this area were filled with legislators who clapped and applauded this change to say that you can have an abortion up until birth, and said, you know, Troy Jackson said that Maine people had spoken and that this is what they want, that this is what Maine people want, and so this is what they're going to get. And so what I want to know, I don't have a poll question on here, but here's what I want to know. Do Maine people truly want, do the majority of Mainers support abortion until birth? Because that's what this is proposing. So, do the majority of Maine people support abortion until birth? Until that child is born, do the majority of Maine people support abortion? Because I don't think so. I don't think so. That is a crazy, radical agenda, and I do not believe that Mainers, by and large, support that. And so, I absolutely advocate and ask that you guys show up when there are public hearings on these bills, because the people being affected by changes to the law like this can't actually speak up on their own behalf. And so they need us to stand in their place and to call out what this is, and be light in the darkness on their behalf. So that is the sobering update that I have for you today. That is what's coming forward this session. And that's just a preview of, that's 4 of the bills coming before us this session. And so I hope to see so many of you here in the halls speaking up as the session moves forward, because we had a lot of people here today on the stairs advocating for these extreme changes to Maine law. I can't even actually really fathom it. It's just crazy to me. And so I wanted to come down here and do this live in the space where they had the press conference earlier and shed some light on a very dark issue. And you know, this weekend, I'll end with this. This weekend, the Planned Parenthood advocate, sorry, I can't remember her name. She said that this weekend they are going to be lighting a candle in the window. So there's going to be a candle lit in the Blaine House window, in the Speaker's office window, in the Planned Parenthood advocate's window, and that candle lit in the window is to symbolize light in the darkness, in supporting a woman's right to obtain an abortion until that baby is born, really. And so I'm certainly not asking you to light a candle in your window. I think that I don't want to co-opt what they're doing, but I do ask you to think about how you can be a light on this issue, whether it is calling your legislator, emailing them, making your voice heard, and standing in the gap for those who can't. So thank you guys for tuning in. Please share this video and let your friends know this is what's coming. This is what Maine has elected, and I will stand here and fight, but I hope that you will too.